Welcome to the latest of our videos on the coronavirus COVID-19 special business briefings. I'm Graham Robb from Recognition PR, and joining me this time is George Rafferty, Chief Executive of NOF, the energy supply chain group that has many members that are helping get our energy resilience in this country. George, could you summarise what members are asking and telling you about the situation in their businesses now?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Graham, thank you for inviting me to participate in this, and also for the work that you and Recognition PR are doing to keep, the business community and businesses, updated on what is actually happening across the country. As far as the NOF members are concerned, the supply chain, energy supply chain is a very resilient supply chain. We have had to cope, or the supply chain has had to cope with many peaks and troughs over the years, particularly in the oil and gas industry. And the supply chain has come through it, and it will come through this particular difficulty. Probably will come through it stronger. Okay, we can maybe touch on that during the course of the interview. As far as what they're saying to us, Graham, we are still open for business at NOF. The team is working from home. We are still getting contact from our members. What they're mainly asking us for at the moment, Graham, is a bit of clarity on the measures that the government has actually announced. And we are a little bit limited as to what we can actually give them as far as clarity is concerned. So we actually then refer them onto the government websites for a bit of additional information. And I know further clarity will come out over the course of the next couple of days in the latest measures. But NOF is there. We will help provide whatever clarity we can provide to it and any assistance that we can give our members.
When it comes to business loan interruption schemes, if you see any evidence of banks gold-plating government rules, will you have a word with them on behalf of your members? Will you try and represent your members if it becomes necessary to, with officials, HMRC, that kind of thing, to support them? Maybe not actually represent them in the way their accountants or their lawyers would, but a bit of lobbying pressure, should it be necessary, to oil the wheels?
Yeah, well, on that particular point, Graham, the role of NOF is very much in the business development side, so looking for opportunities around the world for our members. On the lobbying side, we don't actually get actively involved in any direct lobbying, although in my role as Chief Executive, I do come into contact with local, regional and national politicians. What we would do if we are getting any evidence of that sort of behaviour that you're seeing, Graham, we would feed that through to, for example, on the oil and gas side, we would feed that through to Oil and Gas UK. Mm-hmm. They would then, lobby the relevant government ministers, government departments. On, say, for example, on the renewable side, we would feed that through to Renewable UK. Those organisations, we work with both of those organisations very, very closely, and they would definitely take up the cudgel for NOF members along with their own members if the representation is needed to government ministers.
George, what do you think about this that I'm about to say? I've put my name to a letter that the Entrepreneurs Forum are going to send out to regional press to encourage people in the north of England who are trading with one another to not be too nervous about talking to one another about credit and the ability to pay. So in my own case, if I have suppliers, I will try very hard in the next few weeks to pay them all, keep the flow of cash going. If I have difficulties, I'd phone them up and say, look, I can pay this much, but maybe not the full amount. Actually, making sure that information and confidence is maintained. Actually, I will pay everything, certainly till the end of April. But this issue of the supply chain and keeping it lubricated and keeping it flowing, are you encouraging your members to do that, particularly within themselves, the membership of the organisation?
Well, actually, something I've done this morning, Graham, that I'll be writing to some of the NOF members whose membership is actually up for renewal at the moment, actually encouraging them to look at ways of supporting each other, supporting the network, and actually being there for each other, and not just talking about it, but actually taking some practical help whatever they think. And in fact, I've seen one of our members post something today on LinkedIn. T's Components, Shannon Lane has published something on LinkedIn, actually doing that, encouraging businesses here in the northeast of England, you know, if they're perhaps short of staff, short of, you know, capacity, to actually look and see at efforts to work together, to actually maybe plug holes in the capacity. So yeah, we would definitely be encouraging members to look at how they can support each other. And it's a tremendous network, very supportive network, very supportive of each other and very supportive of NOF. So I would think they will look for those opportunities to help each other out, Graham.
George, the one other thing that's interesting about your own membership is that many of them are in specialist engineering businesses. As you mentioned, Sharon Lane. Now, Boris Johnson was very clear, work from home unless you absolutely can't. Well, some of these engineering businesses, you can't work from home. You can't take the kind of equipment into your back garden.
No.
So you are going to have to go to work, observe safe distancing, obviously. So I suppose these engineering businesses are even more important for the economy than ever, because they are the ones that are still operating.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, you know, and you know, as the government has said, Boris Johnson himself has said, we've got to keep the economy ticking over as best we can. And those businesses that can do that, whether it's, you know, supplying essential services, you know, such as food and medicine, you know, they've got to keep going. But also those engineering companies that you're referring to there, Graham, they've got to keep on going also, because we will come out of this. Hopefully we'll come out of it maybe in a stronger position, because people will look at different ways of actually doing things. So yes, they've got to keep the economy going as best they can. They will face very difficult times, as we all will. But as I say, it's an extremely resilient supply chain, resilient companies with fantastic workforce, fantastic technical skills. And yeah, they will continue working where they can.
I'll just give this one more observation in the few seconds we've got left and see what you think. I think when we come out of it, supply chains should be putting resilience above speed and cost. And that might mean less demand and less reliance on Far East cheap manufacturing, because we've seen what happens now when it's interrupted, albeit for a very odd reason, a virus in this case. So perhaps the advantages of northern businesses, or in your case, all around the country businesses that are focused on supply chain engagement, is the way forward.
Yeah, I think I was actually talking about this just last week, actually, with one of our members, Graham, you know, to actually, let me use this word of repatriate some of the business that's actually gone abroad to, you know, China or where else. I think many companies, both in the service and manufacturing service, will actually be looking at it and saying, really, should we be bringing some of those jobs back, some of those technical skills back? Because we do not want to have this situation arising again. So I think there'll be a strong case at looking and saying, how can we encourage government, how can we encourage the repatriation of those skills, that expertise, and make the supply chain and the whole economy much more resilient and prosperous.
Thank you, George. And thank you for following these videos. We'll have more throughout the next few weeks.